you know, I started a Facebook page called Excel, and it's for women of color and women of color who are in all phases of their life, but who really want to talk real talk, get real information, and not have things sugar coated. So that's why we can have this conversation with you guys eating and doing all what you're doing and feel comfortable doing it. And it's okay. It's okay that we talked about the fact that you got your nails done and your hair done.
Just plant a shade tree that just immediately grew over me.
I mean, there's two people eating. It's not just you, dear. But you guys have so much information, and it's so important that I am okay with you eating. Not really. This is a comfortable place. It's a different type of this is a different type of space. Let me just say that.
Next Monday you go, bam, let me just take that one, not here.
This is a different type of space. I want people to be able to come here and not feel like it's all formal and shoot, I've got you know, Amy asked me to do this again, and that sucks because now I need a glam squad. Nope. I want this right here so people can feel like they're talking to their friends.
Amy, you know what? Look at this. Sandwich behind me for the last 2 bites.
No, you're good. No, I'm joking. You're good. So we're talking about mental wellness during the quarantine and how women in particular, because we tend to be the one that everyone piles all of their stuff on. So now we're in the house where the stuff is really piled on. So now it doesn't matter if you're working from home, you're there. So everything is supposed to stop because, you know, I'm hungry, I want something to eat. Did you buy this? Is this in the other room? All of the stuff, and you may be writing a proposal, anything. And you feel like your head is kind of overwhelmed, and we have a lot of, the whole quarantine thing has us taking on double responsibility, it feels like. So where we were able to go away and go to work and at least get that time, sometimes, you know, some of us are working from home or some of us are not working and we're stressing about the money, you know, and then those who have anxiety issues or have issues, you know, with family members or are dealing with family members who may be dealing with mental illness, you know, those are things that are now all just stuffed in one place, 24 hours a day. So I want to talk to women and let them know that it's okay to sometimes feel overwhelmed. It's okay to say, I have had enough and I don't like my family today. I love them, I just don't like them, and I'm not talking to anybody right now. Or like Marla, who locked herself out of the house the other day, I believe on purpose, so she didn't have to talk to her family. I'm just saying. So I would like you guys
redirecting and reassigning my pain.
I know, I understand. So for those who don't know me, I'm Amy Malone. I'm the owner of Girl in Charge Public Relations, and I work with people of in all industries, and we do all type of different things. I do cause marketing, I do entertainment PR, all that great stuff. But what my passion is women and making sure that women are okay. That's it, making sure we're okay and that we get the most out of life, whether it be whether you want to be a businesswoman, an entrepreneur, whether you want to be the best executive you can be, or whether you want to be a star, whatever it is, that is my job to make sure that you get what you want out of life. And I want to celebrate women, and I want to make sure that we are okay at home, at church, in our social life, in our family life, in our relationships, everything. So I have a couple of wonderful people here, and I want to first introduce Marla Thomas. Marla, will you tell us something about yourself as you stroll around your wonderful home?
Well, I'm strolling around my home because I feel like that I'm inspired. And the inspiration means that I need to go to a place that I can take this I've left my little piece of sandwich. I've invaded my husband's studio, and yes, I would love to share with you who I am. So there's several things. I have always said that I'm known for various things in this life. I am the mother of 3 adult children, and some are very public and very known. Monique Slaughter of Love and Hip Hop.
We're getting to know your finger very well.
Oh, sorry. Monique Slaughter of Love and Hip Hop Hollywood is my eldest child. My son DJ and my youngest daughter Drew Thomas, and my husband, David, who is a 10-time Grammy award-winning artist with the acapella group Take Six. But more importantly, I think that what Amy brought up, what I would want people to know about me is just the depth of understanding of what it takes, or what I've understood my role to be as a woman, which is born to evolve. So all women, we're born someone's daughter. We, in the most cases, become someone's, in a lot of cases, and no assignments here, but someone's mother. In some cases, someone's wife. So look at the hats that we're wearing, and the responsibility with each of those roles as we transition through life, and all that's required with each of them. They're so very different, and all of them, to be honest, which I found, are roles of service. Mm-hmm. So what I do in this life is, by birthright, by just divine destination as a woman, there are beautiful things and about it, but the level of strength mm-hmm. is about the level of assignment that I've been given to carry those. I just named 3 definite hats for myself, but all women have an expectation and or trajectory of evolution from birth to death. Mm-hmm. And where men are born little boys, you're someone's son, and then you ultimately, in some cases, become a husband, but your one expectation that everything weighs on you is to provide. But I didn't add that women are now providers too. Mm-hmm. So now we got 5 hats.
Right.
So what I'm saying now is that thank you, Amy, number one, for the platform. Yes. I'm glad we're able to connect, and I'm glad you're giving us a space to be real about this journey of uncertainty, of ins and outs, a journey that takes on so many things that you could never imagine in your idea of what it is to be a woman.
Right.
So you're redefining that every single solitary day. Now, I'm done. Please move on.
That was a great introduction. Lizzie Morris.
What do you do with that? I think that's great. In fact, now I understand why she put the 2 of us on together, because my name's Lizzie Morris. A lot of people know me kind of under the capital of your Coach Lizzie and your Agile Lady, because I help mostly organizations shift and change to be able to deal with changing times. And one of the classic lines I use a lot with executives is, when was the last time you saw a dinosaur? Right? And I kind of get that deer in headlight look when they go, a dinosaur. And then a few times, you get some smart ass that will come back to you and go, well, Lizzie, last time I took my son to the zoo and in fact we saw an elephant. And I'd be like, okay, so why did you see an elephant and not a Tyrannosaurus Rex? And then I get the glare. Yeah. All right. And I go, because the elephant was able to evolve. So you have the choice now to intentionally evolve your organization or stay stuck. And we'll talk about you like fossil fuel in the future. Right. So it's kind of, and that conversation leads to, contracts and etc. That happens. So most of the time pre-COVID, I was going all over the world helping people do this stuff, adjust their organizations, adjust their team, adjust their leadership style with different frameworks. But I've always believed that the journey called life means you have to evolve. The difference is most people resist the evolution. Mm-hmm. And because they resist the evolution, then you get the stress, then you get the anxiety, then you get all these things, because life will be life.
Yep. Yeah.
It's going to be. So you're either going to go with life and intentionally embrace change when it comes to you and say, you know what, I can do this. And I think the nice thing you talked about with women, that we are destined for evolution, because we have been put on the earth to do so many roles, which means we come with this innate strength. I mean, we are the people who carry life. I mean, the fact that we carry it, and God, the universe, whatever you want to believe, has entrusted us that you can do that. You can do that 9 months of going through all the transitions that are necessary internally to bring forth somebody else. That's
Right.
huge.
Yeah.
So I
Right.
think in this time when women begin to doubt themselves and they're feeling all these anxieties, because this change has come that we didn't ask for it.
Mhm.
So none of us made it happen. Like, yeah, I fancy like just changing the whole industry and wondering where my next dime is going to come from. Nobody like kind of did that. But we have to remind ourselves every time we look in the mirror, I can do this. Look at what I've already done.
Done.
Right.
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 Right. So I think it's necessary to maybe during this time for mental sanity is keep a log of what I call your trophies that you've made in life. What did you get through? You know, some of us been through some crazy divorces, crazy relationships. You know, we've been abused, but we're still standing and we don't look like what we've been through. Right.
Right.
Thanks to all the wonderful products on the market. Right. But we're here. So if
Mhm.
you have been able to go through that, guess what? You can go through this too.
Right.
And I think that's the message we have to empower every woman with right now. You can get past this career shift. Yes, maybe they have furloughed you. Maybe they won't call you back, but there's genius still on the inside of you. And maybe this is now an opportunity of launching something new that you would have never done before, because
Right.
women work well under crisis.
But how do, now that's the key though. How do
Necessity,
women
the
do it?
mother of invention.
Yeah, it is. The thing is, now with all of these, because we sit and we can say to each other, use this time to venture off and do the things you've always wanted to do. Take a class, take a course. If you have an idea you wanted to birth, get it going. And then you get discouraged, some women, because we have women who are at home that are not in the best relationships, and they're stuck home with a husband who's not the most supportive person. Maybe they're in an abused space. Maybe they are suffering from depression because they just, financially things are just hitting rock bottom. And so when we're saying, for some of us, it's easier said than done. For some of us, we can say, you know what, that's it. I'm gonna buckle down. I'm gonna close the store and I'm gonna go in here and I'm gonna get in this computer and I'm going to go after what I want. And then you have others who have people banging on the door or someone who's not allowing them to get to that place. And they're so mentally beat down, besides the stress and the anxiety of the Rona running around here, not being able to go to a grocery store, and just the basic living has been taken, it's been changed. So we're asking people to evolve when they're just trying to live.
Yeah.
And then if you start with depression, and then think about it, if someone is already dealing with anxiety, depression, and things like that, how do they get past it? So what I'm going to ask each of you is, how has this situation changed your circumstances? Personally, how has it affected you? Let's go with you, Marla, first.
As just by my description of who I am and what I do, when I describe it out loud, it sounds like the chaos that it is. That's the truth. Like when I say what I do, I'm a realtor, I'm a fitness trainer, I have my own fitness company, and none of these hats I've stopped wearing. I'm a mother. My son is in my house at 30. So the bottom line is, it is as chaotic. And in other words, when I say it, I'm like, wait, what? So for me, there comes a time when I have looked at this, and everything I've learned to do that has brought me to personal evolution has come with slowing down what happens around me and getting into the accountability and the introspection inside of me. Period. Because change is only born, honestly, out of necessity. you don't change. Like, there are times in my life that I've honestly said, Marla, I am sick and tired of you. I'm not them. I'm sick and tired of myself.
Right.
So what I've done in this scenario is I've looked at it. There's also been five major losses, ladies, that I've taken in my lifetime. And of course, when you lose something, the first thing you start thinking about is, whose fault is this?
Right.
But I also started looking at God's hand for me. And when there are things that have been stripped away, and I'll say one that's huge. They're one of the biggest family fractures that we've overcome is that my son, before we understood his mental health diagnosis, and he was on drugs, heroin as far as it went, and he had pawned all my jewelry. And I thought it was his sister. So I blamed her because both had been, teenage menaces in our life at times. And when I understood it was him who had pawned everything that mattered to me, like things that were custom made and family heirlooms and whatever. I had 10 friends at the time who lived near me in the valley in LA. And 6 of their sons are dead. They died of heroin overdoses. I'm not even kidding. Because it was an epidemic in our neighborhood because the kids here have money and they were coming in and giving them their first few hits for free. They were all partying. It doesn't matter. The bottom line is this. The wake-up call was when I challenged my son at his lowest point, and he said, Mom, I'm sick. And he agreed to go to rehab. I'll never forget the day I crumbled. I went to my knees. And from that moment on, when I tell you, so I want you to see my hands. There's no wedding ring. One of the things he pawned was my wedding ring. And David has offered to replace it multiple times. And I said, I don't want it because the pain is so great, but the victory is greater. Mm-hmm. So every day I wake up, and people don't know this, but I mean it. There's not a day since that happened years ago that I don't look at my hand and cherish the fact that we still have him. Mm-hmm. My son's here. And so for me, no amount of material loss at that point, no amount of gain, nothing that I could acquire held the weight for me. And I started looking at the fact that there are things that God has allowed in my life. And there are things, and I don't think he orchestrates pain, but I think he allows us to experience ourselves because in our nature, we're going to be some of this. You know what I'm saying? So for me, sometimes things get so out of control in such a big way, hello, Noah, that everything has to go, ah! So we're dancing. And Owen is like,
stop. Exactly.
Right. So for me, I'm encouraging us all to understand the pause has a purpose. Mm-hmm. Now, no one, the entire world collectively is like, ah! So what I look at for myself in these moments is myself. And all of the things that I've put on the back burner, because all of the things that I've been doing that I have considered to be necessity. Well, I need to provide, and I need to be sure of this one. And I need to, and all of a sudden it's like, well, all the things, I looked at a list, and I literally wrote down a list that says, I wrote a blank sentence. I would do this if I had more time. I would do blank if I had more time. What is the blank? Uh-huh. You got nothing but time, baby. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. What are you doing? Like, okay, so now what is the thing? So that's what I look at for myself. Everybody's in a different situation. I do think that we have lost the meaning of our motion. I know how involved I was as a parent. I even teased my oldest daughter. I'm like, I don't even know how you do social media, because I know when you guys were growing up, I just didn't have time. I was so engrossed in my kids, None of that. I didn't have time to drink. I didn't have time to do anything. I was just. So what I'm now saying is realignment is here. You have no choice. And so you have to find more meaning in your motion. So if you have those little kids, it was always better for you to have 1 hour of focus and intention than TV and distraction. Just go sit down. Go on. Because technically you didn't have to think about school because tomorrow somebody's got that.
Right. Right.
Now you can focus on, you know what? There could be some fun, creative ways that we could figure out how to learn some stuff here.
So you can focus. You can actually connect
Absolutely
with your children. You can connect with your home, your household. Let me say that. You can connect with your household.
Well, I want to hear what
So
Lizzie.
Lizzie, how has it changed you and just the whole quarantine thing? How are you dealing with it?
So initially I quarantined myself before it became a quarantine.
Wow.
So, because remember I was in LA at that event, right? And then hearing about some of the people at the event who had COVID and didn't tell nobody, kind of ticked me off. And so I was due to go from LA to Nigeria. That was literally what the plan was. So I was supposed to be flying from there to Nigeria. Then from Nigeria, I was going to the Caribbean. Then was supposed to be going on to India.
Wow.
And I went, no.
Yeah.
I do not. I'm not going to be on a plane for 17 hours. Right. And I don't care that I'm traveling in business class. Right. They don't mean they clean it any better than anywhere else. Because I travel. I know what these people are like. Right. I'm not doing that and then getting stuck in a foreign country and being sick. And I'm going home. And it caused a big kerfuffle with lots of people because people were expecting me. I was supposed to be speaking at a conference and there was a whole bunch of stuff I was supposed to be doing. And I just said no. And I went home. And when I got home, I said, yeah, I'm not going anywhere else.
Yeah.
I traveled. That's it. Now my years, okay, are like pretty much 3 blocks out of the year, I'm out of the country. That's just normal. Every 2 days I'm on a plane. That's normal life, right? So when I got home, I just started thinking, okay, what did my grandmother always tell me? If you run out of money, what are the absolutes you have to have in your house to be able to survive? And so my mind went back into what do you do to have to survive? Literally, that's how I thought. So I got in touch with some people to find out where's the closest farm to me. I went to a farm. I got them to kill an animal. I got the animal.
Wait,
right.
What are those 3 things your grandma told you?
Okay, so the 3 things my grandmother says you always have to have in your house is rice, flour, oil, and that's as long as you got those 3, you can survive. Rice, flour, and oil, right? So I remembered as a child, like, you know, when my grandmother would cook, because my background is Caribbean. So my parents are from Jamaica, right? So there was always this thing that if my grandmother said, if you're belly hungry and then I call out at you, flour and water will fill your belly. So I'm like, okay, go get a big thing of flour, go get a big thing of rice, right? So I went for the mass to get those, make sure they're in the house. So I wasn't just thinking about me, I was thinking about all my kids. Now, all my kids, I'm an empty nester in essence, right? But I still have 3 kids who are in this country, sorry. 2 were out. One was in Korea, other one in Canada. And I'm like, I don't know how people are going to show. I don't know if my sister may show with kids. I don't know what's going to happen. I've got to be prepared to take care of everybody. So so the Korea woman went.
Right.
And matriarch came in place. Right. And I went into matriarch mode. And so I just went into preparation mode, got the freezer full. So I went to this place, you know, and I'm really kind of sheepish on all kinds of things. But that resilience came. I picked my animal. I watched them kill it, cut it up, told them how to butcher it, put it into bags, got home, washed it off, right? Packed it away, sent stuff to my mother's. So she had stuff there. And I was like, okay, what else do I need in the freezer? So I totally equipped my house that we may never have to leave this house for 8 months. We will survive. That was my first mode.
Do you mind your address? Because
you want our address?
you're that 8 months. Mine. I thought I was thinking more in 2-week increments.
That's where I went. It's like, we got to be able to do this for 8 months. What if I can't get out? What if I can't?
Well, Lizzie, I respect you because we got chips, popcorn, we got juice. I got a couple wine bottles. I was thinking, you know.
I was like, okay, so we took care of the liquor store check.
We get hamburger patties. We got bread. We can make burgers, and we have big bags of potatoes. Burgers and fries all day long.
I respect you too, because let me tell you, I think that more of David and I's mindset was, so hey, Baroni's Pizza, are you guys all healthy over here? Can you please call us if someone comes down with COVID?
But see, it's all about environment you've been raised in, right? Because whatever's in you is going to pop back up when you're under duress.
Right.
It's the duress that pushes it out. Because normally, you know, I have my cleaners come in once a week, and no cleaners have come to my house. I've had to go back to do my own housekeeping.
Yeah.
That's stress in itself, because I like everything in its place, and now I have to put it in its place, and I have to go into the career mode. So when I stepped into career mode now, I have all these employees.
Right.
How long can I keep them on? Hold on, I got to think about me and my family for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Who am I going to pay? Who am I going to let go? And I try my best to, I've always got this practice of being very transparent. Like, just telling you the way it is. I'm going to tell you the truth, let you make a conscious choice if you can handle my truth or what you're going to do. So I'm not going to pull wool on your eyes, right? So I had conversations with people, and it just started to be, let people go, let people go, let people go, negotiate. Look, this is the best we can do this time. Can you work with us when it gets better? I got you, but this is the way it's going to be. And that was hard.
Yeah.
And then I noticed I started to get resentful.
Really?
Yes. Oh, I did. I started to get resentful, and I could feel the resentment. So being a life coach, right, and I do NLP, I understand the idea of, you know, you need to take a pause. I started feeling myself reacting, and certain names that would be said, I suddenly like feel it in my stomach, and I'm like, okay, hold on. I'm holding resentment. I got to clear that out.
Why resentful though?
Well, because I'm looking at my bank account.
Ah, okay.
And I'm seeing my bank account go down, right? My business account.
Yes. Okay.
Right. So I'm doing all this work. I'm taking all this risk, but I'm paying for your family, your family, your family, your family, your family. Yeah, that don't work for me right now.
Level of responsibility in a crisis.
Right. And so I didn't like it. And then I'm like, I can't be resentful, because that doesn't work.
Right.
Right? You hired these people. That is your job. You are supposed to do payroll. Right?
But it's hard. No, it's hard. Especially when you have the government saying you don't know nothing. You don't know what tomorrow holds. So every little dollar you have, you're like, okay, I don't want to give you my dollar. Because,
you know, it's kind of like, who's going to take care of me?
Right. We need it right now.
Who's going to take care of me? That was that kind of thing. But I had to process. Go ahead. Yeah. But I really had to process that part out of, okay, let's get this out.
Right.
You know,
I couldn't find anything.
So I had to go through my thoughts.
What is that?
Putting up the flag of it's like when you do a neutral flag. We can't talk about the orange man. We can't. So we're gonna.
We're just gonna have a neutral flag.
Have a neutral flag. This flag is because we will not talk about the orange man.
We're not going to talk politics at all.
We're not.
We're not.
I'm really.
Let me ask you guys something. Has this taken a mental toll on you? And in what way? Now, Marla, I know you are in the house with Dave. Dave is easygoing. He's a sweetheart. But I know that DJ has his issues, and so how has the quarantine affected him in a negative way, and then how are you handling it, or how is it affecting him? Because tell people about what's going on with DJ, and then how you guys are dealing with it.
Before I go there, do you mind if I just do a quick public service announcement?
Absolutely not. Go ahead.
Okay. I'm selling Dave's Grammys.
You know what? I'm about to text Dave right now. Look, she's selling your items online live right now.
I'm disallowed from the video, but if you don't want the old school ones, I have, they're bigger. And it would just take one brief little move for me to.
I can't stand it. I can't stand it.
Put
That's
your
what
name.
happens. That's what COVID does. That's what the quarantine does. It has you in your house looking for what you can sell.
But here's what's actually kind of comical. Dave and I have been married 32 years. We met when we were little kids. And just a sidebar, this is honestly the longest concentrated time we spent together in a lifetime of marriage.
Wow.
That's we were laughing about that when we were talking the other night. We were joking with Dr. Brown on. Anyway, yeah. I'm the one that's home always. I say I'm the heavy lifter. I'm the one that's always here. And Dave is an amazing man. He's an amazing husband and seriously, I have to say that because I joke, but what he is to his family is I have found it to be unparalleled. Let me just put that out there. But because of what he does and the respect we have for each other, he's not here. So it is very unique because it was always a dance for me, my whole marriage, because I'm the strong one. Like I'm the one that's like, what do you mean wait for your father to get home? I'm kicking your butt right now. I'm not waiting for nothing.
Right.
It's my respect in this moment that we're dealing with.
Right.
So what I have noticed is this, ironically, because of, and give me just one quick second. I have to shut my door because it's important for this.
Okay. I think we're getting secrets.
Yeah.
Okay, we're getting details.
Well, it's not a secret.
Not a secret, but a detail.
But I will tell you that so my son's diagnosis is bipolar 1 with schizoaffective disorder. And even though we talk openly and we're public with what happened in the diagnosis and all of that, just his perspective can be, very paranoid based. So what I do know is it was interesting to us because he had become, after several unfortunate incidents, a recluse. So when COVID hit, he's probably as normalized as I've ever seen him because now we're all him. Right. So before this, once he was home and we had gotten him back on his meds and he'd come out of jail and blah, 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 which was just the unfortunate process of what ended up happening to him when he was in a psychosis. Once he got home and he was in the safety of home and, with whatever treatments we can, convince him or, get him to do, at least he stays on his meds. But he was to his room, to the shower, get dressed, which is a good thing because they all don't.
Right.
Downstairs, food, not much conversation. Sometimes a good day, sometimes a bad day, but back up to his room. Now he's interactive. He's all over. Amy?
Yes. I agree.
He's happy. He's on our family feeds. He's all over us.
Right.
But what I realized was that his mental space that is so painful has become the norm. So now it's interesting because there is no more expectations. And I told Dave, I never realized before on a mental health level, and this is something I want everybody to hear, how important it is to not dismiss them and discard them. Because of the nature of what I do and because of what Dave does, when David is in the house for whatever period of time that is, short stints, he's all the way in the house.
Okay.
So he's a very connected dude. So he and DJ are like this. Like he engages him, he goes in his room. DJ still takes meds from us every day.
Right.
But I have to go to work. So I teach my classes. I have private clients. I'm a real estate agent. I'm showing houses or closing deals or doing construction with people. I'm out there. So there's stints of time where that solitude is exhibited in his mind goes wild because now the voices are his primary interaction.
Ah,
We show up, you break through their silence. Hey man, what's up? Blah, 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 blah. And so he can't contend with them because he's got me right here. So now we're all right here all the time. So it's like,
so the voices take a back seat.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
Correct. And so that's another
Conversation. Yeah, but
you're asking me how this has fared. It has created even deeper understanding for me.
Okay.
More compassion for me.
Okay. So you haven't found yourself like any type of anxiety or anything like that. Well, I don't even know where you have a space to between Moniece and
except I don't, because if I hit him in his throat, then we can't make money.
You know what? The people are going to show up at your door. Excuse me. But Lizzie, how has mentally, how has it affected your mental state?
I've definitely had a couple of days where I've had to, I would say, kind of fight through a couple of things, because I've had a history of depression in my 20s, but didn't realize what I was going through until kind of, you have those crisis moments of, things you think will always be there, relationships you thought you could put your money and everything on would be there, and they weren't. I'm
having a private summer.
Literally, I think it was 2 days ago, I was in the bathroom, and it was really weird because it was like being back in the moment where my second husband had tried to kill me, and I ran into the bathroom to go into the closet. And it was like the same, it was very odd, right? It was like that moment, I was back in that moment where I felt like my mind was about to shatter. And I remember at that moment back then hearing all these voices in my head and not being able to find my own voice or whatever. And I remember that moment. And in that very second, it was like being back in that moment. I was like, whoa, what's going on with me that I'm feeling that kind of right? I must be right now depressed. What the hell am I depressed about? So then it was like kind of coming outside of myself and say, okay, what's been going on? What's going on? What's going on? What's going on? And I was able to go to the fact that it was a fear factor. And it was a fear that had triggered all this, which would make sense because at the time I was fearful for my life. And at that point I was in fear, but I was denying I was in fear. So I'm going through the motions. I'm doing this. But it was fear. So literally what I did was I came upstairs into my space, the room.
Right.
So I came upstairs into this room, right, and shut the door.
So you found your safe space.
So I did. And then I just started to kind of work through my emotions. And then just kind of readjust them as to, okay, what is it? Is that real? Like you're seeing this, but is that really what's going on? Why do you see that? Well, what if you were thinking this? Why are you thinking that? And why so it was just kind of working through things I work clients through, but doing it with myself.
Right.
So it got me back to okay.
And don't you guys feel like, and I don't mean to cut you off, Lizzie, but don't you guys feel like sometimes it might be a day where you are happy, everything is fine, like we're going to get through this is not a problem, and you feel like you can take on the world. And then it might be another day where it's just like, you know what, it's just too heavy today. It doesn't mean like it's going to be too heavy forever.
I agree with you, but the problem you've got to be so careful of is that you don't get frozen. Right.
Okay.
So, and that was something for myself I had to figure out. So literally what I did was I went back to index cards, right? And I went back to what did I do in my past life when these things happened to me and I went back to my affirmations and I started writing affirmations.
Okay. Affirmations are phenomenal.
I started writing those again, and I just started saying them to myself and started talking to myself, and that's what I started to put out. And so since that, in the morning now, before I even get out of bed, right, and say I'm going to start dealing with the day,
right,
I say some affirmations.
Oh, okay, good.
So that's what I've had to do now to keep myself.
But that's your tool then.
Yeah, it's a tool. It's a technique.
That's your tool. That's what works.
My tool and my technique, because I cannot afford to be so busy. I'm doing that I haven't taken a pause enough. And then because I haven't taken any pauses, it catches up with me. right? Because then it'll take me out.
Right.
And
Right.
I don't have the time to be taken out. Two, I've got too many people depending on me. So I can't allow that to happen. So therefore, I've got to put these protection things in place.
And isn't it important that we as women, I mean, it's people, period, but we as women know ourselves, know what's when we're not in a good place, and then what do we do?
I have to jump in here too, because and one thing that for me has been my experience, and one, I have a tag. The tag I say all the time is, I'm never going to give you advice. I'm only going to share my experience, because that's all I got.
Right.
So in my experience, I'm a person, even in my fitness world, who breaks things down to simplicity, to the point that a child can understand it. So I do it to myself. And and I have to bring things to one word. One word for me is expectation. So once I started I've been traumatized so much in this life, but what I started to realize is I was traumatized by my expectations. I expected that this was going to match this, and it was going to equal this, and it didn't. So now I started to have to look at that and say, oh, it's not these circumstances. It was my understanding of life, and what I expected was not right.
Right.
So here's what I understand. Living is resistance. And I have on my arms, there's two arms I have here, and you guys can't really read them right, but I did it this way on purpose because it was only for me. One arm, these are my arms of inspiration, and they're on the inside because I read them like this almost daily. And one tattoo says, "This too shall pass." And the other tattoo in fine print says, one says, "This too shall pass." The other one says, "Free to be me." So this too shall pass and this is recent, came about because I started thinking about being in a dark place, which we can all identify right now. Our lives are upside down. Nothing is what we expected. Who knew? But when you're in a flow, life does this, and even this part shall pass.
Right.
But you only quote that when you're here.
Right.
Because you're here. So life is fluid. It's transitory. It moves. And so what I have done is change my expectation by accepting what life is. And so now what used to be for me like this, my expectation change is like this. Oh. So it's like blood sugar. I've leveled the spike. I've flattened the curve of stress on some level. It doesn't mean I'm not dealing with the things that exist and I see them for what they are, but it is what it is. What now? These are my affirmations. Now I'm here. So COVID is a good one. Okay. I just told David the other day, he's a super heightened intelligent dude. He missed 2 questions on the SAT. That'll tell you all you need to know. And he's into the virus and how it started. I said, that's great, but it's here now.
It's here.
So I don't need to waste my lane. Is not I'm not McGruff the crime fighter. It's not my lane. So, and I'm not saying that it wasn't engineering. They didn't try to F us up. I'm not saying any of that. I'm saying, what does it mean for me? It is what it is. And what now? It's 3 of us are here in this moment. This is our moment.
Right.
So what just happened 5 minutes ago when I got up to shut the door, I can't recreate it or change it. I'm not really sure what anyone on this Zoom is going to say in the next minute.
Right.
Right now, I can understand and control my expectations by just being here.
Right.
And that I survive. So people ask me all the time. You got Moniece is always wilding out, blah, 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 blah. And you got all these things at all times, and you're holding out all this stuff, and you got 2 mentally ill kids, and blah, 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 blah. What do you? It is what it is.
Yeah.
And what now? So either I'm prepared to do what? Remove myself from the situation, kill the family, which none of these things happen. I'm serious. I
No,
literally.
I agree with you. No, absolutely. It's funny, but I agree.
Let me be
Yeah.
candid.
Yeah.
I even considered my own personal exit. Like once I understood, oh my gosh, this is it. Like I was hopeful for things that are never going to come to be because there were X factors and variables I didn't know. I thought, oh, have the kids young, pour yourself into your family, support everybody, make everybody good. And when they get to be, that was the story I was sold. When they're in your, Marlo, when you're in your early 40s, you're going to be able to do whatever you want. Well, we're emotionally bankrupt. We're physically bankrupt. In some cases, we're financially bankrupt. So that whole thing, I didn't know that this was going to look like this. When we went to bed on March the 10th, we didn't know on March 24th, all hell was going to break loose. It was going to be over.
Right.
The 24th, when it was stay the hell in the house, we didn't know.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what you thought you were about to do, we had a trip planned to Cabo. That ain't happening.
Yeah. So I'm with you. No, I get you. We had, I mean, and people had lives that were planned out,
Absolutely.
you know, and everything changed.
Absolutely. We had everything.
Everything changed.
Your
Your business changed.
People you were going to see.
Yes, vacations changed. Your careers changed. Some people lost their jobs. Some people were laid off, but some people lost their jobs and are 50, say 45 and up, and have been on jobs for 15, 20 years. And all of a sudden, out of the blue, they had no idea that they were going to be looking for a career change.
And
but they are.
People aren't coming back.
No, most people are not coming back.
But 80% of new industry will be born.
Absolutely.
I want to say that. So I want
Absolutely.
So you can be that person that's like, oh,
yeah.
Well,
yeah.
I lost it. So here's my point. Our energy is finite.
Yes.
You don't have endless amounts because one day you're gonna die. So there are two things I know. I will be black forever.
Can I tell you this? My husband swears he's not going to, though. I just wanted everybody to know that.
Okay.
I just had to share it because when I say in my household, everyone's going to die, I'm not. Oh, well, I'll be damned. Okay.
Lizzie, I will give you my phone number, sweetie, and we can begin.
I'm just sharing it. I'm sharing it. He made it.
I'm glad because we want to support you and his delusion.
Please do. Please do. Every once in a while. I just need that little bit of support. Every once in a while, some crazy stuff is said in my household, and I don't think anybody else will believe it.
You know what?
There you go.
The kind of woman I am. You know, if I were married to your husband and he said that, at one point I would say, okay, sweetie, you know what? You're right. Long live the king. I'd have a crown.
Well, you know what?
At every dinner. When my son was in the middle of his delusion one day, this is not funny, but it is kind of funny. I said, Dave, what are you about to do? Because we couldn't get him back on his meds. And he said, I'm working on a deal. I'm headed to the moon. And my brain wanted to fight it and say, D, what are you talking about? But I didn't. You know what I said? I said, you're going to the moon to do some work. I said, okay, well, can I give you some advice? I said, I hear the air is very thin up there. So I would please ask that you dress appropriately because I love you and I would like to see you back here later today. Okay, so let's just go with it. Let's just run with it.
What's wrong? Okay, so one of the things I wanted to take away from this is you gotta laugh. You know, honestly,
and if you can't,
you've got to laugh.
YouTube is free. Right? You can find maybe some old Bernie Mac.
Yeah, anything. You just have to laugh.
Listen, you don't
want women to
need
understand
old Bernie Mac. Log into the Madhouse 5 and you get.
Oh my gosh, hilarious. Yeah, they have a new show coming out. Yes, they have a new show, and it's hilarious. But you know, just to really kind of wrap it up, I want women to understand that successful women, people who are struggling, whatever, are going through some similar experiences, and we're all going through things where we can relate to the other person's household. And one of the things that we all can do is smile and laugh. I don't know whatever that is that makes you, you know, like, you know what, I need one of my laugh moments. You know, my moment is my daughter just makes these out of the blue. I'll just get a video of her dancing to some dumb song. I laugh at those because she can't dance. I mean, so that to me,
you know, this is on
my laughter.
She thought she was killing, she thought she was killing it. And
oh, baby, she is all the time. And then she always has a pose and a face all the time. Because she does. I mean, like, she's pretty when she's doing it, but she's just
gonna hear you, you know. She's gonna hear you.
Oh, absolutely. I tell her she cannot sing and she cannot, you know, she danced for years with Debbie Allen, so she can do, you know, that type of, but she's
trained?
Oh my gosh. Hilarious. It's hilarious. If I could put them up, she'd kill me. But I'm just saying, find your it. What is your it? What is that thing that brings a smile to your face? What is that thing that calms you down?
Yeah, because the brain is an amazing thing, right? Our brains are amazing. So even if it's just that you go back, you can remember a time when you were most happy, most joyful, right? And having the most laugh and go back to that moment. Your brain has no concept of time.
Correct.
You can make yourself feel good by going back to a time.
Yeah.
So if you can't think of anything recently and everything is appearing as doom and gloom, go back to a time when you know you had the most fun and remember the way it felt. And at least be in that moment, bring that feeling now to you in this present, and it will give you enough energy to be able to make that inhale and exhale.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you can.
That's why it's called exhale. Because you just put it in. That's why my group is called Exhale, and that's why my movement is Exhale, is because I feel we as women, we suck in so much bad energy. We've gone through so much that someone at some point needs to just exhale. Let all that bad out. Let it out.
And can I make one final statement myself? I just want to say to everybody. I think one of the greatest injustices that we as women have taken on ourselves is the pressure of measurement and the pressure of comparison. And there are times now I want every woman to stop and look at the three women that we have here.
Right.
We are unified in the same moment, under the same circumstances, with different experiences, but everyone here, listen, I'm not kidding. Thank you, Lizzie, because I'm a person who believes in the two-way street. So you've shared with me, and I'll be damned if I go through another crisis without rice, flour, and oil. Forget it. It's never gonna. But for me, I really just want us to understand that now is a time to absorb that there is an equity of just humanness, and even greater as women. Women, we are our greatest critics. We are the cruelest to each other. We're always trying to live up to a standard that we claim is for men and other people, and it isn't. We're competing against ourselves. When we should be uniting, because we are for real the most powerful force on every level. We lack nothing. So for me, I'm like, how can I help? And I'm always desperately publicly trying to say, I open my life and I open my soul, not for you to be like me, but to encourage you to be like you.
Right.
I understand that there's a measuring stick that matters. The only one is the one God placed in me. Every time I look outside myself, I'm short. Right. I won't ever be a better Lizzie than Lizzie is Lizzie. I'm never going to be as amazing and more powerful Amy than Amy is Amy, ever. But I can be a completely amazing Marla. Because as a goal to live in her lane. And the more I accept and love myself, the more I can accept and love you. And the more I can do that, the more we can grow, and the more I can pour out and I can receive, and we can change things. And by the way, Amy, you didn't have a private summer. We all saw you. But anyway.
Oh, I did. I had a very private one. I went like this a little bit.
It wasn't private. We all saw it.
It was between us. This is a private, well, it's a everyone summer, but it's only my feeling.
Oh, excuse me. I'm having a private summer.
I
No.
was. It was private. It was my own feeling. Now that you want to bring it out there to everybody, I mentioned it a little bit. You want to just bust it out. I'm having summers, people. I have all those fans all over the place.
Have a fan handy.
I have these little fans all over the place, just all over the house.
I have my flash dance moment.
So,
But
you guys, thank you so much.
Yeah, and I appreciate the opportunity. Lizzie, please stay in touch. I think that you are amazing. I loved being able to be acquainted and to join you in this mission, in this moment, in this movement.
Yes.
And thank you for creating the platform.
I'm thankful to both of you. You are amazing women. And what I am going to do is I am going to make sure that I add all of your info at the end of the video. But what I would like for you to do is tell people how they can get in touch with you. So Marla, how can people get in touch with you and learn more about what you have going on?
The best thing.
Well, first of all, tell us what you have going on and then give us the contact info. I know it's a lot, but we got to hear about Madhouse.
What I have going on is about 17 pages on. No, I'm just kidding. I have Marla Talks, which is my personal page. And Marla Talks you can find across all platforms: LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. Marla Talks. There's now the family page, which is called the Madhouse 5, where you will find only our family content. And the Madhouse 5 on Facebook, so facebook.com, the Madhouse 5, but it's Madhouse 5. This is complications of my daughter Monique. I'm sorry, I gave birth. I didn't intend for it to go this far. But she has created, it is Madhouse 5 on Instagram, but it's MAAD, Madhouse. And to her credit, it's because it wasn't available.
Okay.
But it's Madhouse 5. And then there's always, for those who just want to be entertained, David and I had a talk show for years. So if you want to go on the Marla and Dave show, and I have to put this out here. Last night, we had a unique opportunity to have one of America's only MD, PhD, chemical medicinal doctors who's working on the cure as well for COVID, who I happen to go to school with, because he's busy out of his mind, granted David and I an exclusive interview about COVID.
It was amazing.
And about the cure, and about and what it really, why it is so detrimental to the African.
I shared it on my LinkedIn platform today.
You what?
I did. I shared it on my LinkedIn.
Oh,
I did.
Thank you so much, because let me tell you, we are the same. What we want is to get the word out through science is facts. Everything else is speculation and feeling.
Right.
And so I want you guys to it's the latest thing posted on the Marla and Dave. So it's Marla and Dave show on YouTube. It's long. Fast forward if you need to, but
it's good. It's entertaining too.
It is great.
And informative.
Yes. So that's where I can be found. That's what I have going on. And other than that, I would beg Amy to maybe invite Lizzie and I back, and maybe we could do COVID Chronicles and talk about. Never mind.
No, I have a whole other topic for you guys coming up. But yes, you guys will absolutely be back. And I will be in my new little space, so I'm excited about that. Lizzie, yes, I have a new little space that's being prepared for me. Lizzie, tell us about what you have going on and where people can find you.
So you can find me on everything but under Bearded Eagle, BEARD, like an old man with a beard and eagle. That's the company website. You can find me on LinkedIn, Instagram under Agile Lady. So if you go at Agile Lady, as in being agile like a body, you can find me. And you can just, if you do a search on Lizzie Morris, LIZZY, no IE, but a Y. Lizzie Morris, MORRIS, I'll pop up. You'll see the black person, you know it's me.
Okay.
And LizzieMorris.com.
That's right, LizzieMorris.com. That's true.
Yes.
I forgot about that. There is that here.
Yes.
And Amy, love you as always. Thank you for introducing me to Marla. And it's so interesting to see, Amy's really good at this, right? She knows what people think and how to connect people. She's crafty with that.
I knew you guys would work well together.
That stuff.
Yes.
So yeah, I like the fact that I think this is a fabulous demonstration of what I always talk about as sisterhood.
Mm-hmm.
right? Because I believe true sisterhood is like the ocean. If you think about the ocean, there's lots of bodies of water that flow into the ocean. When you look at the ocean, everybody's, oh, the ocean's beautiful. Look at the colors and it's wonderful. But get underneath that ocean and you can die, right? So if we
And I'm a scuba diver, that's true.
Oh, see, right? Fact. So if we bring each other together, like you said, putting expectations aside and just understand, I'm a body of water, you're a body of water, and together we come, I believe the changes we really want to see in the world are going to come through women.
Yeah,
But
they are.
when we come to this sisterhood place, and I think we'll be able to do that if we can teach each other it's okay to exhale.
Yeah. I agree with that. Thank you so much. And Lizzie, you forgot. Lizzie has a book out, Affirmation Smoothie. It is on Facebook. You can find it on Facebook. Facebook, whatever it is, Facebook. Affirmation Smoothie. Great way to learn how to utilize affirmations, and you know, it's a good read. So Marla, I love you. You are always the energy and the positivity and the knowledge. You are a very smart woman. You're funny as hell, but you are so smart. And so yeah,
because we're stuck in quarantine.
Yeah, you're funny. But you're so intelligent. I told you, Moniece is a lot like you. Moniece is a lot like you.
Compliments you're sharing.
These are quarantine compliments. Yes, and they're videotaped, so these compliments will live forever. Lizzie, you are a brilliant woman. I have always told you that. Industry-wise, there's no one that can touch you. And I will say that in the Agile community.
For the record, I wrote down everything.
You are amazing. So anyone looking for an executive coach, anyone who's looking for any type of coaching, career coaching and life coach, LizzieMorris.com is an amazing one. I am Amy Malone. Thank you so much for sharing my time and sharing time with these brilliant, beautiful women. I hope you guys have a wonderful evening.
Yes, and don't forget to breathe in, pause, and exhale.
Exhale.
All right.
Oh, my lips look gorgeous when I did that.
And when we run out of rice, flour, and oil, what then?
Potatoes.
You know what's so funny? She said rice, flour, and oil, and I got a little pissed. I'm resentful of you because what happened to the meat you chopped up? You didn't offer us.
No, she didn't offer the meat. She just
run out of the meat, and there's nothing left. Then what are you going to have,
Lizzie?
You'll have the rice.
I see what you did there, though.
Yeah.
You really over prepared, but then you gave us the bare bones medicine. Listen, what I did is I killed a whole field full of cattle and I chopped it up and I shared it with my family.
And it's in my freezer. But you guys had rice,
flour.
Yes. I thought she was going to at least throw in beans, rice, flour, and oil.
I have to tell you this, when you run out of your meat and your rice, flour, and oil, my family are McDonald's owners in the Dallas area.
Yes.
And they're still open and thriving. So if you need a cheeseburger, girl, I got you.
Okay. I'll hold you up.
Bye, ladies.
See you later. Bye, guys.